Dana White in the presser on Saturday night. I know you were listening to the presser after our fight. I don't know if you heard this quote, but he said Aspinall versus Jones, when pressed, what percentage? He said 100% is happening. I've also heard other people say that the negotiations have concluded supposedly with Jon Jones, and he's going to get apparently what he wanted. So I'm guessing somewhere in the neighborhood of at least 20, but I think somewhere even closer to 30 or 40 million is what people have been speculating. This is pure speculation. He is going to get a massive payday. So I wanted to start by saying this. Number one, this fight is going to be one of the biggest, if not the biggest fight of all time. And why is that? Because number two, Jon Jones, I believe, masterminded and played everything and played everybody. All of the stuff. I think maybe at the beginning he didn't want to fight Aspinall. I don't think it was a 5D chess to that level where he's planning everything from the get-go. But I think there was a point. And I think Jon truly believes that he can beat Aspinall. So I'm going to tell you my theory, and I want to hear your thoughts. I think he knew from the get-go he was never afraid of me. I mean, obviously he wasn't afraid. That was stupid. But like, I think from the beginning he believed sincerely from watching Tom Aspinall, I can put together a game plan and I can beat this guy. Then you go back to the presser leading up to the Stipe fight. And what did he say? He said something that was so weird, Justin, right? And even you said, hey, he shouldn't even be thinking about Aspinall. He shouldn't be thinking about anybody. He should be focused on Stipe. And I remember him saying, and this really bothered people. People were like, oh my God, he's definitely ducking. And I remember thinking, why would he say this at the time? He said, oh, I know everybody wants me to fight this guy that's 7 years younger than me, that's so big and so strong, basically kind of like alluding to the fact that he felt that Tom Aspinall had an advantage over him, which I thought was really bizarre at the time. I'm like, why would you even bring that up? You know, because then it makes it, and I never thought he was ducking, but it makes it seem like it. And then now I'm thinking back on it as this fight is actually coming together, which I said for a while, I didn't think it was going to happen. I didn't think the UFC wanted it to happen. And now it's happening. And now he's getting all this money. And he was like, he went out of his way to avoid that interview. He was seeming so touchy about it. Was this entire ordeal, Justin, the most brilliant game plan of all time for Jon Jones to negotiate the highest ever payout for one single fight in the history of the UFC?
Oh, yeah, I'm going to stick by what I said. I think, Jon Jones being.
Now I can hear you. Sorry.
Got me?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my internet, dude. I'm sitting in the same spot, but like I've said since day one, Jon Jones is the best in the world for a reason. He can focus on the task at hand, and I think when he's getting ready to fight Stipe and people throwing all this speculation about Tom Aspinall, I don't think he wanted to talk about it. I don't think that it was a thought to where he thought he was going to lose. But again, he had Stipe in front of him, and when you got someone like Stipe in front of you, regardless if he's in his 40s, regardless if he's lost his last couple of fights, regardless if he hasn't fought in a while, it's still another man standing in front of him that he has to get by before Tom Aspinall can even be talked about. So I don't think it was a game plan like oh, I'm going to make so much money if this way. I think he just was to stay focused for Stipe, and once the Stipe task was completed, now he's welcoming in the Tom Aspinall thing, and I've said that since day one, and I'm going to stick by that.
Okay, and maybe you're right. Maybe I want to believe that this was such a masterful plan because I just felt that Jon Jones was getting so much disrespect so unfairly, and it was annoying the heck out of me. You guys saw me make many videos trying to defend Jon Jones, obviously agreeing. I mean, I think maybe one day people will come back and agree unanimously that there's no duck happening because he was just following through with the scheduled fight. There was talks that were implying that he didn't want to fight him, but now it looks like that was all nonsense and just a negotiation tactic. I mean, this whole thing is crazy. This story has gotten massive. And because of everything that Jon Jones did, that's why this fight is going to be 10 times bigger than it would have been had he not said all of those things, which is either just tremendous circumstances or maybe a little of both. Maybe it was a little bit of planning at some point where he's like, okay, now I'm going to just bait the fans and roll with it and build it up. But regardless, that is what has happened. Dana White says 100% sure. Now, you can't be 100% sure, right? There are a lot of things that could happen. But, dude, this fight might go down in 2025. And that means potentially the biggest event, maybe, I think, yes, actually, the biggest event in the history of the UFC. And the UFC just keeps getting better and better and better. All right, last question on this before we move on to the next topic. If you had to take a fighter right now, you know who I'm going with. If you had to pick one winner between these two at this current moment, who do you got and why?
Man, I'll be honest, and people aren't going to like this take, is I didn't think Jon Jones looks that good against Stipe. I mean, he looked fine. He looked like an average heavyweight. He looked heavy. So,
Oh,
I'm not saying he didn't have glimpses of, his former self. I'm not saying he didn't have glimpses of his former self. I think putting that weight on, I mean, he went to like, what was it, the fourth round with Stipe?
third round, I believe. Wasn't it a third round finish?
Round?
Hold on, let me double check.
Okay, well, I mean, as your third or fourth round, like, regardless, third or fourth round, like, I mean, Stipe didn't want to be there. Stipe didn't want to fight. He was there for a paycheck. He looked okay. Tom Aspinall is not going to be Stipe. Tom Aspinall is going to be, and he sees it as an opportunity. Stipe, like I said, Stipe looked to me deflated the whole fight. He looked like he was just trying to get through the fight. He wasn't trying to win. He was trying not to lose. You could see when he was on bottom, he wasn't trying to get up. He just was holding Jon, waiting for the next round. I really wasn't that impressed. And I know some people are like, "Oh, I thought he looked great." Okay, that's great. And again, I'm wrong. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I think Tom Aspinall is going to seize the opportunity to have Tom Aspinall beating Jon Jones.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, that's the opinion of an expert. So I mean, I totally get it. I did think he looked impressive. I was very impressed with the creativity and the striking, as well as the grappling, the elbows and the ground and pound. I thought the whole fight was tremendous. Maybe Stipe wasn't. I don't know. I don't know what was going on with Stipe, but I thought Jon Jones did a terrific job. I'm taking Jon Jones. I believe the cerebral advantage that Jon Jones has over not just Tom Aspinall, but over everybody, I think is going to come into play. I think he's going to develop a pinpoint perfect game plan, and he's going to execute because he always executes under pressure. That's my thoughts, but we will see what happens, and that's the fun and beauty of the sport. You never know, and we are having the hugest fight. At least we're having the biggest fight ever in the history of the heavyweight division.